Okay, this is a brief presentation regarding the assumption of homogeneity of regression slopes or homogeneity of slopes, otherwise known as the assumption of HOS. We are already familiar with the assumption of homogeneity of variances for ANOVA designs, but for ANCOVA designs there's this supplemental assumption of homogeneity of regression slopes or homogeneity of slopes. This does not replace the requirement of homogeneity of variances, but supplements it. So, the assumption of homogeneity of regression slopes indicates that the relationship between the dependent variable, or dv, and the covariate should be consistent or similar across all levels of the IV. So the relationship between the dv and the covariate should be the same or statistically similar across all levels of the IV. And what I mean by all levels of the IV, let's say you had the variable of drink, and you had 3 levels, 1 being cola, 2 being Lucozade, and 3 being water. So the relationship across each of those levels should be statistically similar. So basically they should run parallel to one another. But if they were to somehow interact, which would be indicated by a crossing of the lines, that would indicate that the relationship between the dependent variable and the covariate was not statistically similar across the levels of the IV. So let's say 2 would interact. To me, this would indicate that perhaps the covariate you've chosen is not the best covariate, and maybe it should be entered as an independent variable, another independent variable like in a factorial ANOVA, versus as a covariate that to be statistically controlled for. So if you violate this assumption with having a p less than 0.05, that would indicate that maybe this covariate is not behaving in the way that it should be to be considered a covariate, because your covariate should behave the same way across all levels of the IV so that you can statistically control for it in a similar way. This has been a brief presentation of the assumption of homogeneity of regression slopes. Please contact me if you have any questions.